Well, Jim, after the Irish South Africa game, people already starting to write Scotland's chances of progressing through the quarterfinals off, and they've only played one game.
I know. I mentioned it earlier. It's such a Scottish way, isn't it? And it isn't Scottish people writing this off. It's everyone else writing this off. Well, and the Scots are writing this off as well. Look, Pool of Death, we've said it, frightening when you see that game on Saturday night, South Africa versus Ireland, and you look what's in our pool. I thought we'd beat Tonga with a bonus point. I came away from the game, I'll be honest, until I spoke to Chris Patterson at breakfast this morning. I was slightly underwhelmed. I expected more from us. But then you put into perspective, Tonga are much better. The ball is very slippy. A lot of the teams are dropping the ball and having issues with the state of the ball, which is a story for another day. If it doesn't improve, we'll definitely call it out. But Tonga, physical. Should have had a red card. Timo Piau, yellow. They've gone to the bunker. Don't know how that's not given. Anyway, irrelevant, but we got the bonus point. We got the job done. So it was a workmanlike performance. Blair Kinghorn looked good. Absolute wheels. We were physical. Took them on head on. Expected to win. It's hard to really say any more than that. But what I would say from the seats that me and Kelly Brown were in, which were the hospitality comfy seats with ridiculous amounts of canapes, I was very happy. Went there as fans. That it's the Finn Russell show. We are, and as narrow-minded as this is to say, we are a one-man team with Finn Russell. Like his ability to move, his passing, when he's on song, as we saw against South Africa, how they rushed him. And not that that is the worry, but that's just the assessment of looking down on the bird's eye. Like, he is the keys to the kingdom. I know Jamie Ritchie got knocked out. He was concussed, and that's why it should have been a red card as well. But if Jamie isn't captain for whatever reason, I think you just give Finn the keys to the kingdom and you go all in on him. We'll get a bonus point against Romania. Sorry, Vern. I'm not sorry at all. We'll put a bonus point on Romania. And like I mentioned earlier, we need to beat Ireland and them get nothing out of the game. So it is the impossible challenge. Expected us to beat Tonga. Good game. Lovely stadium in Nice. They were physical, everything you'd expect. They weren't fit. They were walking around by the end. They gave us a good physical test, but we got through that. We'll get through Romania. And then, goodness me, 7th of October, it's one in all in. And that's it.
It's on like
Donkey Kong.
Bit of a question for you, Jim. So we talked about Big Faz, Andy Farrell earlier, sticking to his identity of and focusing on his team and playing to their strengths. When I saw the Scotland team come out, and he's got Carl Steyn on one wing, and he's got Darcy Graham on the bench, and he's got Chris Harris in the centres, and he's got Hugh Jones on the bench. Hugh Jones and Darcy Graham have been two of your better players, top 5, top 6, 7 players, probably over the last however long. And part of the reason Scotland have been so good to watch at times. Has Gregor Townsend gone down the route of, I want to try and match Tonga with physicality, and I'm picking those two, as opposed to sticking to what's best for Scotland? I'm not saying Carl Steyn played badly, he didn't. I'm not saying Chris Harris played badly, he didn't. I actually thought Carl Steyn played really well.
He's a fantastic player.
He is. But then Darcy Graham comes on, ridiculous try, and was exciting every time he touched the ball. He's picking those two, not to match them, but because he's playing Tonga and he thinks, well, they're big, so we better pick our biggest players, as opposed to playing to his pure strength of what he sees.
Well, I'd say Hugh Jones is bigger than Chris Harris, but I know what you mean in terms of identity of Chris Harris being a defensive player more than an attack and Hugh Jones being all-out attack. I would say, and this is me with a little bit of inside knowledge as well, that there isn't a huge amount between Carl Steyn and Darcy Graham. I know Darcy Graham scored the wonder try when he came on, but Carl Steyn, he scored four tries against Tonga last time he played him. He's a very good player. There's an argument that they could both play. But then you've got Duan. I know. Then you've got. I know.
Duan was ridiculous.
Yeah, he is.
I've got some stats on Duan.
The meters that he makes, as in the carries, the breaking the line. He
beat 14 defenders.
He's our X Factor player. But
he got sat down though, didn't he? Properly.
Which you never see. He got sat down.
No.
And I'm telling you now, most people, you're taking people's heads off like that, or you're knocking them clean out. He bounced straight back up. Safa, isn't he? South African, they're built differently. Carl Steyn's a brilliant player, but look, it's the old school thing. Run them down for 60, they're going to flag the last 20 minutes of the game, and that's what happened. Bring George Horn on, bring Darcy Graham, tired bodies. But I think if it comes down to it, I don't know. Actually, you know what? It'll be really interesting what he does against. I think there's an argument for Carl Steyn to start against Ireland. I don't think there's anything between hit
ahead of Darcy Graham.
Aerial.
He was your
aerial.
big shot favourite player.
Mate,
the other
yes,
week.
I love Darcy Graham. It's got nothing to do with me not liking him, mate. I like Carl Steyn. He's captain at Glasgow. He's been phenomenal for them. Again, there's a South African density in his bones because he's South African as well. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what people are thinking. This isn't to say that Carl Steyn's better than Darcy Graham, but aerially a little bit more robust. Darcy's not going to play against Ireland and start ripping the ball out from 45 metres, 50 metres and making line breaks. Cheslin Colby didn't do that. Aronson didn't do that. When you play against Ireland, it's this game of chess, isn't it? Back and forth, kicks going up in the air, the 50-50s. So the fact that he's a little bit taller or he might positionally might be better defender, I don't know. Them little nuances that I've got no idea what I'm talking about. There's an argument for that. But against Tonga, 60 minutes, bang them, bang Darcy Graham on, bang George Horn, bring Hugh Jones on. And we have that riches now to do that. The unfortunate thing for Scotland is the weight, isn't it? So we've got Romania.
You're going home. Oh, sorry.
You know what? If we go out, this is what I mean. I was sat with Kelly. We were sat there and we were like, if they don't get through, they didn't get through last time in 2019, got beat by Japan, got beat by Ireland, and we were out, beat Russia though. And it happens this time round. Gregor Townsend's not made it to the quarterfinal of both World Cups that he's coached in. How do you even measure success? But you know, if you're speaking honestly, you're looking at Scotland, we're miles better. We're fifth best team in the world, but the gulf between 5 and everything above that is massive.
Yeah. I mean, it's harsh, isn't it? But that's why you are working at World Rugby, James, to change the narrative, change the draw. So next time round, when we're all in Australia,
Scotland can play Chile
at the 2027 World Cup. Eddie's gone. Scotland in their group get Chile. They get Portugal. They get Uganda.
and they get one our team, and then we definitely qualify like England. Yeah,
And then you're in.
all right.
Jim's
So you
actually
never know.
pushing to get the draw done now for the next World Cup.
Yeah.
He
That's
wants
what
he wants them
Scotland
bringing
ironically
it
need, isn't
forward earlier.
But it is hard, isn't it? So what do you do? What's your assessment of Scotland after this if we don't beat Ireland?
Well, you've lost to the best 2 teams in the world. There's no shame in it. I'll rib you until we lose to you in the Six Nations, probably.
Does it matter? It's disappointing. Like, as in you're going
it's-
home and you're disappointed. You get it. Then what?
Yeah. I mean, there's no better coach for Scotland than Gregor right now. It's not a question of he don't make the quarterfinals, get rid of him. Because of the progress you've made, it's just so unfortunate that World Rugby did the draw 3 years ago. Blame Alan Gilpin.
Jim, do you think they can beat Ireland?
Or the pause.
Well, the
Paul says no.
As an expert, if you're looking at it, yeah. If you don't need these, what are you saying? Who's saying what?
Why are you stuttering?
If you're asking the expert opinion, no. Scotland shouldn't win, and Scotland shouldn't win, and they probably won't win. But on any given day, it can. If Ireland turn up and they're not at the intensity they were against South Africa, if they make a couple of changes, if they take Scotland lightly, Scotland can win. Yes, they can. But it's going to...
Send some haggis in and give them the shits. That's what you need to do.
Shits, Andrew. It might be the 25 potato scones you had when you were up here after 12 pints of Guinness that give you the shits. Scotland can beat Ireland, but it's going to be extremely difficult. When was the last time we beat them? It's been absolutely years, and Ireland are on fire. They've shown that now. It's going to be incredibly tough. We're a good team, but it's I'm pretty down about it at the minute. But come the 7th of October when I'm there, pitch side again, I'm high-fiving, Ganassi to come pitch side with me and Eben and all these lads as well because they want Scotland to beat Ireland. I might feel differently about it, but it's going to be incredibly tough.
Pod.
Rugby pod.